Hi there guys, just needed to do a quick video. So today I spent most of the day at the trade union conference that the PSC had organised to help bring awareness to the situation in Palestine and to see how we can get trade unions to get involved in the cause. The first thing the trade unions could do is, quite frankly, is walk away from the Labour Party, which they haven't done so. Elbit has got all sorts of industrial sites where they're making stuff for the F-35, they're making stuff for the drones, all of the equipment you can think of that's actually being used in the mass murder of people. It's done by this Israeli company called Elbit. And guess what? The people working there are all unionized. So if you want to work out how you can stop, unions, how unions can help with the cause, you can get them to stop working in Elbit. You could stop having unions working there. You could help basically get rid of Elbit. But that's not the reason I'm speaking today. Today is the end of days in Northern Gaza. Jabalia refugee camp, which is in the north quadrant of Gaza, is getting ethnically cleansed. There's a journalist called Hassan, who is a friend of ours. When I say ours, I'm talking about the people like myself who've got a voice and a platform. And he is right in the middle of it. His family, his cousins are being killed. The Israelis have attacked the hospitals. They've attacked the Indonesian hospital. I've asked for the people on the ground, who are they shooting at? They said no one. They're just shooting at the hospital. They're shooting at ambulances. Now people, what you have to understand is the Israelis do not allow journalists into that area. The whole of Gaza has not had a journalist from CNN, ABC, BBC, Miki C, whatever the hell else that all these fucking useless news bollocks groups are not allowed into Gaza. Because if they did, they'd have to report the genocide that's taking place. Right now, as we're speaking, Hassan was in a space with Suppressed, who's a friend of mine, was begging me, as in a person with a social media platform, to not give up on them, to not go silent, to not let them basically disappear screaming into the night without anyone listening to them or hearing their voices. I'm here standing the post, as they say, in absolute safety of my house in Bayswater, but I am screaming blue murder for what's going on in Gaza at the moment. And our governments are doing nothing. Our governments are actually aiding and abetting the building of F-35 Lightnings that are being used to bomb the living daylights out of people. People's houses are getting shelled with people in them. 465 people have died in Northern Gaza, where there is no conflict. There is nothing happening other than the Israeli forces have decided they're going to displace the whole population of Northern Gaza, 400,000 of them, out of that area, so they can turn around and say we've cleared it of every Palestinian life. Now this is ethnic cleansing. It's against the law. It's against international law. How are we as the British government going to sit here and watch this happen? How is it possible that Keir Starmer, the arch-Zionist, Israeli first politician, thinks he's going to get away with this? Do you really think that there's going to be, everything's just going to go quietly into the night? Let me give a heads up to this Labour government and every single minister in this country of ours. When there is no hope, when there is nothing that can be done, we have demonstrated for over a year in our millions. You count how many millions of people have actually gone on a march in the last year and a bit, not just across the world, just in Britain, yeah? There have been millions of marchers. the Palestinians tried their best to try and basically get attention to the world by walking up to a fence and saying, we want to be free, and got shot to pieces. They've been left with no choice other than to do what they're doing, which was the Al-Aqsa flood. Now this is the warning that I'm giving to every single person in Britain who is in a position of authority, whether you're a civil servant, whether you're a member of parliament, whoever the hell it is you are. When all roads close, when there is no hope, just like there wasn't in Gaza, yeah? When people like myself are sitting here feeling incredibly frustrated about what's happening, about the fact that nothing is being done, and the injustice of all of this gets to a point where you say, you know what? Fuck it. Fuck it. We're going to do something. Well, I'm nearly 60 years old. I'm not quite there yet. But I know a whole bunch of young people in this country who are watching people burn alive while the ivy is still stuck into their hands, burning alive. And if you think the people who are like me fuming but not willing to do something, there are going to be people who are actually going to do something. And when that happens, let it be known that is because of the weak political leadership that you have shown in not doing anything about pulling back on Israel, not doing a damn thing about Israel's genocide, the fact that they are bombing people from the sky like the cowards that they are, yeah? And you are supplying the weaponry and the intelligence from airplanes from Cyprus to do that with. You are helping them do that. We in this country are getting sick and tired of watching people burn, getting sick and tired of watching the Israeli army just shelling hospitals because they want to destroy the infrastructure that's allowing people to live and stay in the Northern Gaza part. This is all illegal. This is collective punishment and ethnic cleansing. And if this British government doesn't do anything, and eventually we have another violent 7/7 attack on the country, you've got no one to blame but yourselves, because you've chosen to be on the side of the genocidal cunts in this country, in Israel. You've chosen not to take the side of the people. You've ignored every call that we've made. Every call we've made for you to do something, you've just turned around and said, when Afsana Begum turned around and said, are you going to stop this weaponry? Keir Starmer just gets up and says, no. Well, guess what? You'll know it's going to have a fucking consequence in this country. It may not happen this week, but it will happen. And when that violence comes up and starts visiting you, is that what your Labour together, what's it called? What are they called? I can't remember the fucking name of it. You've got some group that are sitting there effectively prodding us. Yeah, prodding us into fucking behavior. Oh, there we go. The behavioural science unit of Labour Together. You're pressing the fucking buttons of the people. You're pushing us all the wrong way, and people are going to rise up and fuck things up. And when they do, you've got no one to blame, Keir Starmer, David Lammy, because you've been fucking warned. You've been told again and again and again, we're getting tired of this fucking death and mayhem that we're watching, that is not in our name, but is in your name and your Israeli friends and your Labour friends of Israel and Conservative friends of Israel. You can all go fuck yourselves and do something about what's going on, or whatever happens is on your neck. Unless, of course, you're doing this on purpose. And you're doing it on purpose to do what? To get a reaction so you can have another set of repressive rules and regulations. I'll tell you what, go down that road and see what happens to this country. See what happens. It's going to be a fucking explosion. And mark my words, yeah? I'm a prophet here. There's going to be violence, and when that violence comes, it's going to be justified because you lot are doing fuck all about what's happening in Gaza. Gaza is burning. 400,000 people are about to get fucking displaced, and you cunts are sitting there smiling, collecting money off Israeli donors. That's what your fucking job is, isn't it? Keep collecting fucking money, you fucking rancid bunch of cunts.